Let's go.
Then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every time I post a video just like this one. Without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The deadline has officially passed for the Raiders and star running back Josh Jacobs to reach a long-term agreement for the 2023 NFL season. This essentially means that Josh Jacobs must sign that $10.8 million franchise tag, or he will have to sit out for the 2023 NFL season. Also, since the Raiders and Jacobs were not able to reach an agreement, Josh Jacobs is not expected to attend training camp in this year's offseason. So essentially the holdout period has officially begun, and it will just come down to how long Josh Jacobs is willing to take this stance towards his future contract. Now, none of us have been at that negotiation table between Josh Jacobs and Dave Ziegler, so we don't know exactly how the negotiations have transpired thus far throughout these past few months. But at least Josh Jacobs via social media has made it very evident that he's not trying to reset the running back market with his new contract. He's not trying to be the highest paid running back. Josh Jacobs via social media has made it clear that what is most important to him is not necessarily the salary, but more the security of his contract, of his future. And you know, that's understandable when you play in one of the most physically demanding positions in the National Football League. So it really just seems like what's the biggest holdup right now is the guaranteed money. You know, how much money does Josh Jacobs want and guaranteed? How much money are the Raiders front office willing to pay? So really, what is going on here? Is it really Dave Ziegler out here trying to be stingy with that money, with the guaranteed money? Are they just not comfortable with signing Jacobs to a long-term deal where they may not have a potential out in his deal? Or are they really just this confident in the young running backs that they have acquired on the roster, like ZAMIR White, BRITTAIN Brown, MCCORICK, etc.? We all know Josh McDaniels. Before taking the job with the Raiders, he was always known to run that running back by committee with New England, where he would rotate 3 or 4 different running backs throughout the season. But this last season with Josh Jacobs, I mean, he was playing absolutely out of his mind. He had over 2,000 all-purpose yards, so that really changed the whole dynamic of what to do with this team moving forward at the running back position. But really, the biggest concern with me now is how long will this holdout last with Josh Jacobs? Josh Jacobs is essentially the second best player on the offensive side of the football. He's a team captain. And ultimately for me, the Raiders, in my opinion, will absolutely need to have a strong running game next season to have any type of real success. With a new quarterback in town like Jimmy Garoppolo, look, I'm not going to feel very good going into the season if Josh Jacobs isn't suiting out, if the holdout lasts all the way up until the regular season where he's actually missing games. That would be really bad in my opinion. But look, even if he does sign right before the start of the season, right before week 1, Josh Jacobs at that point will have missed training camp. He wouldn't have any, real live reps with this new offense. And it may take him a little while before he gets into full physical form, get into real football shape. Because I'm sure Josh Jacobs is going to stay in shape and take care of his body physically, but at the end of the day, it's just not the same as being in football shape, actually taking some hits. And if he misses all of training camp, that could hurt this team not only from a football standpoint when it comes to the running game, but also from a mentality standpoint and just in terms of the locker room morale of this team. It's not going to be ideal having this big distraction throughout the rest of this summer for these players. Reporters are just going to continue to ask the head coach, players, what do they think about the situation? And after a while, I'm sure answering the same questions over and over and over can just get very tiring and frustrating. Now with Josh Jacobs likely gonna miss training camp, likely to be on this holdout throughout the entire summer off-season program. You know, one thing that will be very interesting to me is to see how these young running backs end up looking in the preseason. The Raiders have quite a few young, hungry running backs, like I mentioned, ZAMIR White, BRITTAIN Brown, STINGY McCormick, and if these guys start to look good in the preseason, that may just give a little more leverage towards the Raiders organization in terms of potentially getting Josh Jacobs to sign the tag a little bit earlier than expected. It may make them feel a little bit more confident in their stance when it comes to not getting the deal done with Josh Jacobs. But look, I also understand that the preseason is completely independent of the regular season, and it may not translate into the regular season, but it's just something to keep in mind. And just ultimately, man, I guess, how confident is Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler in this young core of running backs? How confident are they potentially going back to that running back by committee system they had utilized for years back in New England? Also, how far is Josh Jacobs willing to go with this holdout? You know, is he willing to sit out the entire regular season? You know, I personally don't think so, but, you know, as I said, the most ideal thing is you don't want this thing going into week 1. You don't want Josh Jacobs missing any regular season games because, you know, as I mentioned, it's going to be crucial for the Raiders to have a solid running game this season, for Jimmy Garoppolo and for this offense to succeed, and just the overall success of the Raiders moving forward into next year. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this whole situation? What do you think is the holdup? You think it's the guaranteed money? You know, let me know down below. With that being said, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.